All right, I'm going to tell you exactly why Israel Adesanya is going to murder Alex Pereira. And if you're one of those people that are just completely dismissing that just because Alex Pereira made Izzy more stiff in their kickboxing fight than when Izzy watches his hentai cartoon videos,
no man that beats off the cartoons is going to beat me.
then I can't wait to prove you wrong. All right, so my first reason of why Izzy is going to murk Alex Pereira is because Alex Pereira has never gone 25 minutes his entire UFC career and his entire MMA career. He has barely an MMA career. He's like 6-1. I should have pulled it up, but whatever, who cares? Alex Pereira, he was a 2-division Glory kickboxing world champion. He was the first of its kind. He is the more decorated kickboxer than Israel Adesanya. 100%, no doubt about that whatsoever. But this is mixed martial arts, bitch. No one cares about kickboxing in the UFC cage. And the big part about that is the fact that Israel Adesanya, although some of them have been very boring, we all know them, has gone 25 minutes multiple times, and that's going to play a huge factor if the fight plays out in the later rounds 4 and 5 in the championship rounds. And the thing with the Glory kickboxing title fights, it's 5 3-minute rounds. So 5 3-minute rounds, 5 times 3. I'm not good at math, but I'm pretty sure that's 15. 5 times 5 in the UFC and MMA is 25 minutes. So that's a huge difference. That's an extra 10 minutes of fight time and of hard fight time, and that's going to play a huge factor in this fight. And if you watch Alex Pereira's fights with Izzy in the kickboxing ring, he visibly starts to fatigue and gas out while Izzy looks far more fresher in the later rounds. And we're going to get more into the kickboxing fights in just a second. And a big point about the cardio aspect is the fact that I rewatched the Israel Adesanya against Kelvin Gastelum, the fight of the year. He has gone 5 rounds in a hard, high pace, a hard hitting pace that Kelvin Gastelum put on Israel Adesanya for 5 rounds. And it was a fight of the year contender. So Israel Adesanya has been through hell and back. He's literally said in the 5th round, I'm prepared to die. He had the crazy mentality of that. Put it on Kelvin Gastelum, dropped him like 3 times. The fight could have been stopped if there was like 5 more seconds, but Mark Goddard's a G and let Calvin at least go to a decision, because you never know in a UFC title fight with these fucking whack ass judges. So that's amazing. And the fact that Israel Adesanya has proven that he has that elite heart is just a huge factor in this fight. And I feel like people are kind of overlooking the cardio aspect in this fight. This next point might just be my favorite point about this whole video, because it's something that no one actually talks about. And it's the fact that Israel Adesanya, he has the biggest chip on his shoulder right now. Everyone is hating on Israel Adesanya, and I think it's bullshit. I don't think Izzy should get any hate whatsoever. So that's one point, is the fact that people are hating on Izzy for these boring fights, the Jared Cannonier fight, the Marvin Vettori fight. And this fight with Alex Pereira is exactly like the fight with Paulo Costa, but arguably a little worse. With Paulo Costa, people were doubting Israel Adesanya just because Paulo Costa looks jacked, just because he drinks his stick of juice.
Make you strong and jacket.
It made no sense in that fight, and that pissed Izzy off, rightfully so, and that led to Izzy having fucking fire under his belly and murking Paulo Costa. But the thing with this fight is the fact that people are doubting Izzy just because he lost in the 2 kickboxing fights that he had against Alex Pereira. The first fight, if you guys haven't watched it, first and foremost, I've never seen Israel Adesanya more aggressive in my life. I was really shocked. But in that first fight, both guys were super aggressive. Both guys had their moments. But Israel Adesanya took over that fight in the later rounds, and Alex Pereira faded. He faded hard, and he faded fast. And Israel Adesanya put it on Alex Pereira. So if you watch that fight, you will see that Israel Adesanya, his face when Alex Pereira, his hands raised, is just in disbelief, and it made no sense. And I really think Israel Adesanya definitely should have won that fight. That's just a stupid decision in my opinion. This is the best point of them all. If it was an MMA fight, Israel would have won via TKO in their second fight in kickboxing. Israel Adesanya basically just was murking Alex Pereira in the feet that he had a standing count, where basically the ref just stops the fight and has to count to 10. We all know when people get dropped in boxing and kickboxing, there's the 10 count. But if that happens in MMA, point is, if that happens in MMA, that's a TKO. If you get murked and your head's getting bounced around along the cage, it's over. He's gonna step in. It's over. The fight's over. You don't get 10 seconds of praying to God that you come back to life. It's over. You lose. And then fucking this guy lost, got saved by the bell, got time to recover. Israel Adesanya got a little overzealous, wanted to capitalize on Alex Pereira. Emotions were high, wanted to put a stamp on the second fight and, you know, kick Alex in the face. He overextended. He got clipped by that left hook of the Hulk and fucking Thanos combined of Alex Pereira that put Sean Strickland into a homeless shelter. And he got knocked out. And if Izzy just didn't get overzealous, then he would have won that fight. He would have picked Alex Pereira apart. But regardless of all that, there's no denying that Alex Pereira is one of the best best UFC signings the UFC has ever had in its entire history, and a couple others are a couple guys you may not have heard of: Hamza Chimaev and Shavkat Rakhmonov. You obviously heard of Hamza Chimaev, you may not have heard of Shavkat Rakhmonov, but you will know his name very soon. These two guys are just complete killers in the UFC's welterweight division, serious threats to Kamaru Usman in the near future. And if you guys want to see how a fight plays out between these two elite killers, then you're gonna want to click this video right here and check it out. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos, and I love you all and have a great day. See you guys.